August 1944, Wehrmacht headquarters, East Prussia. General Alfred Jodl studied the numbers with satisfaction. Patton's Third Army 400 miles from their supply depots. "The Americans have outrun their logistics," he announced. "Patton will halt within days. No army can sustain such speeds without fuel." The calculation was perfect. The assumption was fatal. 125 miles away, 6,000 trucks were already rolling eastward, headlights blazing in defiance of blackout doctrine. They were about to shatter every assumption about mechanized warfare. The Wehrmacht had pioneered Blitzkrieg. They understood logistics intimately because their own campaigns had repeatedly stalled when supply lines couldn't keep pace. In Russia, their advance had foundered not from Soviet resistance initially, but from the simple inability to supply forces across vast distances. Trucks broke down on Russian roads. Horse-drawn wagons, still 80% of German transport, couldn't match Panzer speeds. Railway gauge differences meant supplies piled up hundreds of miles from the front. German intelligence tracked American consumption meticulously. A single Sherman tank, 0.5 miles per gallon. Infantry division, 700 tons of supplies daily. Armored division, 1,000 tons daily. Patton commanded 12 divisions advancing on a 60-mile front. The conclusion seemed irrefutable. 12,000 tons daily, transported 400 miles from the beaches, over damaged roads through infrastructure the Germans had systematically destroyed. General Siegfried Westphal calculated on August 20th. Even if the Americans possessed unlimited trucks, which they don't, and perfect roads, which they don't, they still couldn't sustain Patton's advance more than 48 hours. Physical laws cannot be violated, not even by American industry. August 25, 1944. Lieutenant Colonel Leroy Ayres faced a room of skeptical officers with an audacious proposal. "We're creating a one-way highway from Cherbourg to the front lines. Every vehicle runs 20 hours out of 24. No stopping except for gas and emergencies. We'll move 12,500 tons daily minimum." The name came from railway terminology. A red ball freight was an express shipment with absolute priority. The specifications that defied doctrine. 2 parallel one-way highways, 24-hour operations with headlights blazing, no stop policy except for fuel and breakdown, 5-minute convoy intervals, 35 miles per hour average, mobile maintenance units every 50 miles, MPs removing any vehicle below 25 miles per hour. Colonel Charles Thrasher reviewed the numbers. "We need 140 truck companies, 5,958 vehicles minimum, operating at 90% availability. That's impossible by any logistics textbook." 36 hours later, it was operational. Of the 23,000 drivers who would operate the Red Ball Express, 75% were African American soldiers serving in a segregated army. These men, who couldn't eat in white restaurants back home, were keeping the most celebrated white general's army in motion. The irony wasn't lost on them. They painted slogans on their trucks. Patton's Blood Bank, Hitler, Here We Come, Detroit to Berlin Express. Within hours, they created their own traffic rules. Slower vehicles pulled off immediately. Mechanical failures pushed into ditches. Any truck below 20 miles per hour was a roadblock. What they observed. By August 28th, German reconnaissance units reported something unprecedented. Continuous vehicle column, headlights visible for 20 kilometers. No spacing, no blackout discipline, estimate 1,000 vehicles per hour. Americans have abandoned all military precaution. This violated everything German doctrine taught. Headlights invited air attack. Continuous columns were perfect artillery targets. No spacing meant one disabled truck could halt entire convoys. General Edgar Feuchtinger, commanding 21st Panzer Division, observed from concealed positions on August 30th. The enemy operates a supply system beyond our comprehension. Vehicles pass at 30-second intervals, day and night. They don't hide, don't disperse, don't follow any rules we understand. It's not military science, it's mass production applied to warfare. The numbers Germans couldn't believe first week, August 25th to 31st. 89,939 tons delivered. Daily average, 12,848 tons. Round-trip distance, 686 miles. 5,958 trucks, making 1.5 trips daily. Fuel consumed by operation itself, 300,000 gallons. German logistics specialists captured these numbers and dismissed them as propaganda, but they were real and accelerating. When trucks broke down, approximately 1,800 daily, the system adapted. Mobile maintenance units, 15 minutes to fix or push off-road. Parts cannibalized from unrepairable vehicles. Engines swapped in 45 minutes using mobile cranes. Drivers created alternate routes when main roads congested. Commandeered French buses and German vehicles. What stunned the Germans most? American fuel management. The Red Ball consumed 300,000 gallons daily just for its own operations, more than many German armies received for all purposes. Yet fuel never ran short. Operation Pluto, pipelines under the ocean, was flowing fuel through underwater pipes the Germans hadn't even detected. General Walter Warlimont observed from reconnaissance photos, "The Americans have fuel dumps larger than our entire strategic reserves. They burn more gasoline, moving gasoline, than we allocate to entire panzer divisions. This isn't war as we understand it. It's industrial overflow." German doctrine calculated armored divisions could sustain 20 to 30 miles daily under optimal conditions. Patton's divisions, supplied by the Red Ball, 40 to 60 miles daily for weeks. September 1st, 4th Armored Division advanced 35 miles in morning operations, halted for resupply at noon. Red Ball trucks were waiting. They advanced another 32 miles in the afternoon. 67 miles in a single day shattered German defensive planning. German intelligence reports. By September 5th, German commanders compiled comprehensive reports. The implications were catastrophic. Their observations defied military science. Americans wasted vehicles prodigiously, abandoning damaged trucks. Drivers operated on stimulants for days. No camouflage discipline. 30% daily mechanical failure. Overwhelmed by redundancy. Fuel consumption that would bankrupt any European military. Field Marshal Walter Model's response. If these reports are accurate, we face not a superior army, but a superior civilization. They make no effort to hide because they don't fear us. They waste resources because they have infinite resources. We cannot defeat this with military tactics. The vehicles themselves. The GMC CKW 2.5-ton truck. Deuce and a half. Backbone of the Red Ball. All-wheel drive, as standard. Automatic tire inflation systems. 30-inch fording capability. Engines ran on low-quality fuel. Heaters that actually worked. By war's end, General Motors produced over 500,000, more trucks than the entire German military possessed of all types combined. the maintenance philosophy gap. Germans rebuilt engines. Americans replaced them. Germans rationed parts. Americans discarded entire vehicles for minor problems. Germans had master mechanics. Americans had thousands of competent mechanics. Nazi ideology meets reality. The predominance of African American drivers created cognitive dissonance for German racial theorists. Nazi ideology declared blacks inferior, incapable of technical tasks. Yet these drivers were performing logistics miracles German forces couldn't match. The African American soldiers understood the irony perfectly. They knew what the Nazis thought of them, which made them drive even harder. Every mile proved Hitler wrong. They were fighting racism with truck keys. German prisoners confronting reality. Some German POWs forced to load Red Ball trucks found their worldview shattered working alongside African American sergeants who calculated weight distributions faster than German engineers, spoke better English than German English instructors, treated prisoners fairly despite everything Nazi propaganda had told them. September 1944, the expected collapse. Patton had advanced so far that even the Red Ball struggled. Round trips now exceeded 700 miles. Drivers were collapsing, vehicles disintegrating. German intelligence detected the strain. General Hasso von Manteuffel reported September 8th. American supply lines show signs of collapse. Convoy intervals increased from 5 to 15 minutes. This is our opportunity. American adaptability. Within 72 hours, the Red Ball reorganized, created intermediate transfer points, cut individual runs to 350 miles, implemented driver rotation systems, established forward maintenance bases, doubled assigned vehicles. By September 12th, tonnage delivery had increased. The crisis that should have halted Patton only made the system stronger. Supplemental marvel. C-47 transport aircraft began delivering supplies directly to forward units. Each carried 3 tons. September 16th. Wehrmacht observers counted 900 transport flights in one day, 2,700 tons by air. The Luftwaffe at its peak managed 300 tons daily to Stalingrad and considered that maximum effort. Americans used transport aircraft like trucks. Wehrmacht soldiers could hear American trucks all night, every night. Endless motors, endless supplies. German units had 3 rounds per rifle, while Americans brought millions of rounds. The sound itself became psychological warfare. American psychological warfare units recognized the impact. They began broadcasting truck engine sounds toward German lines when actual convoys weren't present. German units reported these phantom convoys as real. The breaking point. Captured Oberst Hans von Luck told interrogators in September 1944, "We knew we'd lost when we understood your supply system. You violate every rule, waste fuel, abandon vehicles, exhaust drivers, yet succeed through sheer volume. You've industrialized warfare beyond our comprehension." 82 days of operation, 12,193 tons delivered, 122 million ton miles, 5,958 vehicles average, 7,000 peak, 23,000 total drivers, 700,000 gallons fuel consumed daily, 40,000 tons ammunition to Patton alone, 15 million rations transported. Cost $100 million, 1944 dollars. Reviewing these figures, German officers admitted they had calculated American logistics based on European precedent. They multiplied their best performance by 3 and assumed that was American maximum. They were wrong by a factor of 10. Field Marshal Model's final report: we were not defeated by American tanks or planes primarily. We were defeated by American trucks. Closing. 33 to 35. The transformation of warfare. Before Red Ball, armored divisions advanced 20 to 30 miles daily maximum. Logistics follows combat operations. Conservation is doctrine. After Red Ball, Patton's forces 40 to 60 miles daily for weeks. Logistics is the combat operation. Volume overcomes inefficiency. The lesson, the Red Ball. Express proved logistics determined strategy, not vice versa. Germany produced brilliant individual weapons. America produced effective weapons by the millions, and the trucks to deliver them. General Patton's tribute. The truck drivers of the Red Ball Express deserve as much credit for the defeat of Germany as any combat unit. They were black soldiers, mostly, segregated, discriminated against, denied recognition. But they won the war as surely as any rifleman. The ultimate German admission. General Hasse von Manteuffel, at interrogation. When we understood your logistics capacity, we knew the war was lost. You could supply armies faster than we could destroy them. The Red Ball Express was a weapon against which we had no defense. The final word. A captured German officer, standing beside a road in Belgium, watching the endless convoy, said to his captors, "We prepared for everything. Your tanks, your planes, your ships. We never prepared for your trucks. How do you defeat an enemy who has more trucks than you have soldiers?" The answer rolled past him at 5-minute intervals. 23,000 mostly African-American drivers who proved that in modern warfare, the convoy of trucks matters more than the column of tanks. The German generals stopped laughing when they understood this truth, but by then Patton was already at their gates, supplied by the greatest logistics operation in military history.